Welcome back to Sasquatch Theory. In today's episode, we head down to the back roads of Mississippi, where Tony and Brenda share chilling encounters with creatures that defy explanation. Years ago, Brenda came face to face with a terrifying being while driving at night. A dogman with glowing red eyes, standing over a roadkill. The sight left her shaken to her core, a memory she says she'll never escape from. During the interview, Brenda kept mentioning the eyes of the creature, and she kept saying, the eyes, and you can tell that whatever this thing looked like truly affected her for the rest of her life. I often hear people in the comments say, I believe in Bigfoot, but I don't believe in Dogman, and to me, that's really rude to say to someone with an encounter like this because you weren't there. You don't know what they actually experienced. Can you imagine telling people the truth about a traumatic event and people just writing you off and saying, oh, you're lying? Well, that's pretty much what people in the comments are doing, and it's highly disrespectful. I don't appreciate it. And if you have a negative comment to leave behind, then go take it elsewhere. Later on, Tony uncovered possible Sasquatch activity near a lake, hearing powerful wood knocks and discovering intricate tree structures woven into a dome, similar to a den. Together, their stories paint a haunting picture of cryptid activity in the deep south. Buckle up, this episode is one you don't want to miss. If you enjoy listening to Sasquatch Theory, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, and be sure to share your Bigfoot and cryptid encounters with me by email. With all that being said, let's dive into Tony and Brenda's encounters from the state of Mississippi. Tony and Brenda, welcome to Sasquatch Theory. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing fine.
Hello.
Hello. Good to have you guys on the show, and it's a pleasure to finally speak with you. If you would, tell me about these encounters and experiences that took place.
Well, I was getting ready for work that morning, and I had to be to work at 5. So I left at my house around 4, and I would take the back roads before I got on the main highway. And the one road I was going down was Sycamore Road, and it's just a little 2-lane back road, you know. And as I was going, I was just to go down. I topped the hill, and I was going down the hill, and when I topped the hill, my car lights hit this, I thought was a dog on the side of the road. And as I got closer to him, he stood up. And when he stood up, the eyes were just bone-chilling red. I'll never forget those eyes. And I just froze, really. And driving down the road, I just kind of what am I looking at? You know, my eyes wasn't registering with my brain what I was actually seeing. So as I got closer to it, like I said, he stood up, and it was just, it was like, wow, what is that? Well, there was a stop sign, I don't know, right there. I didn't even stop the stop sign. I just blew through the stop sign. I was so nervous. I stopped at the only store that was open, and I went in, got me something to drink, and I asked that man there, and I said, because we just moved here. We hadn't been here long. And I asked the store clerk, I said, do we have black bears in the area? And he said, well, we're known to have bears. And I said, well, I think I just saw one, because I didn't really want to tell him what I saw. I don't want him to think I was crazy woman. He goes, yeah, we're known to have black bears. And when I got in the car, I was like, that wasn't a black bear. The eyes were just chilling red. It was unreal what I saw. I don't know, he's probably stood about 7.5, 8 foot tall. He had long arms. He had hands like a human with long claws. His head looked like a wolf. But through my eyes, I'll never forget those eyes and the teeth. his hands looked like a wolf. And it looked like he was eating something because he was, like I said, he was bent over and he rose up. And I was in like a little Ford Escort, and that thing could have peeled my roof off if he wanted to. And of course, you know, I got home that afternoon. I told my husband about it, and he said, "Well, can you draw it?" Of course, I'm not a drawer.
That was later though.
But yeah, but yeah, I've never seen anything like that ever in my life. I mean, I've seen pictures of it on TV or whatever, on books or whatever, but never actually personally seeing this creature that I saw. It was very bone chilling.
Yeah. And what state was this in?
In Mississippi.
Okay. And do you think the creature was a black color? I know it was nighttime, but could you tell what color it was?
He was black.
Okay.
He
And
was black.
were the eyes glowing or were they just red from the taillights?
Taillights? What do you mean taillights?
Well, you said you were in a vehicle. Like when you hit the brake, did its eyes light up?
My headlights shined on me.
Okay, the headlights. Did the eyes shine from the headlights though? Is what I mean, or
Yeah, they're like a blood red. They couldn't get no redder. That's how. I mean, it was just the eyes. You didn't want to look away from the eyes. The eyes were just like magnet to you, kind of, if that makes sense. It's really hard for me to explain. It's like a draw. It drew you to, to look at him.
yeah,
If that makes any sense.
yeah, like they were mesmerizing.
Yeah, that's the word, mesmerizing. Yeah, yeah. It was. I mean, I was scared. He could have really, if he really wanted to, I think he could have whatever to my car because of the hands and the eyes and the hair. He had a lot of hair on him, like long hair, like a shaggy dog, kind of.
Yeah, that's terrifying to know these things are truly out there. And
Yeah.
did it ever chase the vehicle, or did it just stand there as you drove by?
He just stood. It just stood there as I drove by. I mean, I was pretty close to him. He was right on the side of the road. We call them back roads. The road's probably big enough for one car to get down.
Yeah, so this is a rural area with a lot of woods from here to where she saw it. From here, it's about 10 miles north of us. And like she said, it's all the roads out here are back roads. And where she saw it at is a heavily wooded area.
Yeah. And I've heard people say that Dogman or just misidentified Bigfoot. You know for sure this was no Sasquatch creature. This was something different, right?
This was something that wasn't real to me. It's like it's hard to explain. It's not a Bigfoot. It wasn't Sasquatch, but it wasn't from around here. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I completely understand. And what is your theory about the origins of these creatures?
What do you mean?
Like where they came from? What do you think they are?
I think it's the science process that went wrong. It's what I think. And they just let them out or something. I don't know where it came from. I'm laughing about it because it's really something that you won't ever forget. Let me just say this. If you ever see one, you won't never forget it. And people, if you tell your story, people will think, wow, this lady's nuts. Or whoever tells the story. It took them a while to believe me,
Yeah.
But
I'm sure this encounter affected you for a long time.
Yeah, it affected me. I mean, even though I didn't actually personally walk up to him or it, I was driving in my vehicle. It's still, well, really, if I'm driving late at night like that, I'm still leery of what may be out there.
Yeah, so it was probably looking for roadkill, or it had something dead on the side of the highway, right?
Well, that's what he looked like he was eating. He looked like he was eating to me because when he rose up, when my car lights hit him, that's when he rose up. I was probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet from him at the time, maybe. I don't know. I'm not good with distance, but I was pretty close to him. I could see it. Looked like he'd been eating something.
Didn't you say it was just off the shoulder
Yeah,
of the
just
road?
off the shoulder. Yeah, and he was right there.
So from the shoulder of the road to where you're sitting in the car, you're talking about 15, 20 feet away.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like I said, I ain't very good with measure distance, but
Still pretty close, though.
Yeah, close enough. Too close that I wanted to be.
Yeah,
Just like I said, he could have got my car and with them claws.
Mm-hmm.
The claws that he had, I'm calling them claws. They look like they were hands with nails.
Yeah,
long nails.
People describe the hands like raccoon hands. Was it like that, but a lot bigger with long nails?
No, it was human hands, sir.
Yeah, well, like raccoons kind of have like human hands, kind of. They're sort of.
Yeah, human hands with claws and hair, and he had the long hair. And yeah, they were human hands.
Yeah, it's a good thing it just stood there and it didn't pursue you. I've spoken with a lot of people who have had encounters like this, but with Sasquatch, they'll drive on the roads and they'll see this creature stand up and it's eating like a dead dog or a deer. And it seems like they're attracted to dead animals and possibly they can smell them from miles away.
Really?
Did you say you saw blood in his face?
Yeah, it looked like something was dripping from his mouth. Like I said, I didn't hang around too long to see what he was eating or whatever. I went on. And I was just trying to convince myself that I actually just see what I saw, because it's something that your brain ain't registering. You know what I'm saying? It's not registering to what you just saw, because you don't see that every day.
Yeah, your brain will sort of short circuit when it sees something like this.
Yeah, and it was just unreal.
Yeah.
Okay. Never again do I want to see it again.
No, I don't blame you, and I'm sure that image is burned into your memory.
Yes, sir. His eyes. That's the thing. It was his eyes.
It almost makes me wonder if a lot of people that see the red eyes, if they're actually looking at a Dogman. I have taken reports with Bigfoot that people claim they have red eyes, but when people are driving and they just see the red eyes, I don't know if necessarily that's Bigfoot every time. It most likely is one of these things that you encountered, a Dogman creature, a werewolf, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know if it's a werewolf, sir. I think it was the science project gone wrong, and he's just out there. I mean, that's just my theory of it, because, I don't know. I don't know. Can't explain it. I really honestly can't explain it.
Yeah. Werewolf's just another name for Dogman, and people speculate that the folklore that is referred to as a werewolf is actually Dogman stories that have been told for many generations.
Yeah. I didn't really know anything about that creature until I actually saw it. That's when my husband started looking at the internet and looking at stuff and see if he could see what I was actually talking about and everything, but it was dark.
I tell you something that happened though right after that. It's probably 2 months after that. My youngest son had a couple friends of his come over. It was a guy and a girl. They're both a girlfriend. They were leaving, and what they had come over. I was in my den watching TV, and was flipping channel looking for something to watch when they had come in the den and sat down. And he introduced a couple to me. I'd never met them before. And they're all in their mid-20s at this time. And they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm flipping channel looking for something to watch." And I just so happened to stop it on a Sasquatch Bigfoot show that was coming on the History Channel. And we started watching it. And then my wife had come in the den where we were, and she said, "Oh, you're watching a Bigfoot show?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Tell him about that thing I saw." I said, "No, you tell him." So I muted the TV, and she proceeded to tell them what she just told you. And they were just sitting there listening, not saying a word. Brenda told her whole story without them butting in and asking her any questions until she was through telling her whole story. And no sooner than she got done, they both looked over at us and said, "We saw the same thing." And I turned around and I looked and I said, "Do what?" And they said, "We saw the same thing."
Yeah, they were
said,
coming down Star Landing Road.
And I said, "Where?" And they said they were leaving the casino at 2 a.m. in Tunica, Mississippi. That area there from the casinos to where they were on Star Landing Road is real rural. It's a flat delta area here in Mississippi. And then it goes up as you drive further up that road they were on, which is Star Landing Road. You come up to an area of heavily wooded in the hills. And he was driving his truck. He said it was in his truck. She was sitting right next to him in the pickup. And like I said, it was 2 a.m. And kind of the same thing. He says he topped a hill. She started pointing. She raised her arm and finger and started pointing to her right out the window. And he saw her, of course, doing that, but didn't look at the time where she was pointing at. This happened in a matter of seconds. And as he's looking to what she's pointing at, that's when he said he saw it. And when his eyes fixed on it, it was bent over. And as he got closer to it, and he was just off the shoulder, as Brenda's instance was, where she saw hers. And it stood up. And he said he'd estimated the same height, 7 to 8 foot, had a wolf-like face, big teeth, red eyes, the hair, described everything. So I was getting really intrigued by their story too, matching Brenda's. So I asked them, I said, "Would y'all mind doing something?" Talking to the couple. They said, "What?" I said, "I'm gonna get some paper and pencil for y'all each, for my wife and for them, and y'all stay in the den. I'm gonna take Brenda in the kitchen." And my oldest son was here. He's a real good artist. I said, "I want you to draw a picture the best you can of what you saw." Anyway, this took them maybe 10 minutes or so. They drew their picture. My wife got her picture drawn by my son at the kitchen table. And they got done, and we looked, and they're both identical. Both pictures were identical. And that blew my mind.
Yeah, that is terrifying. So this was near the same area that Brenda had her Dogman encounter, correct?
No, it wasn't. It was approximately, I would say, 40 miles apart.
Okay. Still kind of close. I mean, it's in the same state.
Well, yeah, that would be, yeah.
Yeah, it was the same state.
Yeah, here in Mississippi. It's all Mississippi.
Yeah, that's terrifying. And the fact that you guys ran into each other with the same encounter of the same creature, that's terrifying.
Yeah, he had told, and I butted in when they started talking about it, and I said, "I would have stopped." And he looked at me and he said, "No, you wouldn't have." I said, "Yeah, I think I would have." He said, "Man, I'm telling you, you wouldn't have stopped." He said, "When I saw that," he said, "Well, the instant I saw it," he said, "I floored my truck and was getting as far away from that what I just saw as I could." And he said, "I didn't care if I blew my truck up. I was getting away from what we just saw."
That's how I felt when I seen it. I didn't stop till I got at least how far is RC's from where I'm
about a quarter of a mile away.
Yeah, and I knew I was going to be safe at the store, maybe. He could have caught up with me if he wanted to, I guess. I mean, I don't know. He scared me. He scared the dickens out of me. I mean, I've never been that scared ever. It was like a dream. It's like, am I actually dreaming? Did I actually just see what I just saw? And until this day, I'm getting chills. Till this day, it's like the eyes. I will never forget those eyes. And the headlights wasn't making those eyes glow. Then but his eyes were, or its eyes were glowing. Not glowing like a fluorescent light, but they were just bright, bright red. I've never seen animal's eyes that red, even with car lights hitting them. There are animals out there, you see the headlights hit them. It's just, I don't know, it's just unreal what I saw.
Yeah, it's definitely otherworldly. In this area where you had this encounter, you said there's a lot of woods there. What else is there? Is there a major waterway nearby?
Yeah, there's creeks all over here. Creeks and a lot of ponds that have been here for hundreds of years for old farmers and what have you, and creeks that have been here for thousands of years. And we're just 5 miles north of a Sardis Lake, which is a huge lake here that's over 1 million acres of waterway.
Yeah, so it sounds like
wooded.
Yeah, it sounds like they move around at nighttime.
I guess so. I don't know. I know we see videos on YouTube of people that have encounters with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and I don't know if I've ever seen any daytime pictures taken of what people call a dogman.
Yeah, they're out there, but a lot of encounters take place at nighttime. What other experiences have you guys had since this encounter?
I haven't seen another one, but I haven't really been out, wee hours of the morning like I was, because like I said, I was heading to work, and it was 4 a.m., around 4:15, 4:20, something like that, and it's pitch dark outside. Ain't a soul around but me, Seemed like, wow, did I just cross into outer space or time? Did I go in a time warp or something? It was just spooky. It was really spooky to me. Scary, mesmerizing, as you said. Them eyes just, it's like it paralyzes you, kind of that, you're just stunned. It's like them eyes, you couldn't take your eyes off his eyes, is what I'm trying to say. As I went by, I turned my head and looked at him. And of course, he looked at me like, what you going to do? Kind of, I'm thinking, whoa, I ain't going to do nothing. I'm going on, going on down the road here.
Yeah.
And the young couple that also saw, that's saying the same thing, that both of them said the same thing, that the eyes were really red, glowing red.
Yeah.
I don't have the pictures anymore that they both drew. I wish I did. I wish I kept them. I don't think they're here in the house.
I could draw them again.
But they were. I was dumbfounded, just as much from the pictures as I was the story, because the pictures were so. I mean, there was the same
identical
creature, if that's what you want to call it.
They were identical. I mean, that's what made my husband believe what I was saying when that couple drew that picture and they told their story. It's like, now do you believe me?
Yeah, that definitely validates your encounter. And yeah, I'm sure that when you laid eyes on this creature, you were, I don't know, filled with dread and overwhelming terror.
Oh yeah, it's like the adrenaline in your body and you really don't know what to do. It's like, well, you knew what to do, but it kind of is like you're paralyzed and you're just looking at him and your blood's pumping and you're nervous and scared all together, all in one. You never, until you experience, you never have that experience. Your body, your head, your eyes, you're thinking of this creature. This science project gone wrong.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I've heard people in the past who have encountered Dogman say that after their encounter, they would have these nightmares of dogman creatures, or that like possibly they get into your dreams. Have you experienced any type of phenomenon like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, those eyes. I've dreamed about those eyes several times, but I've never said anything to my husband about it because, it's just a dream. Dreams aren't true. Right? Them eyes. I'll never forget those eyes. But I think that was the most scariest part about that thing was the eyes.
Yeah. There was
And his
one
body.
guy that said he ran into Dogman, and he said after the encounter, his hair started turning white. I guess I don't know if that's stress or what, but several people have mentioned that.
Well, my hair's not white. I'm gray headed, but I don't know if it's from that. I could have turned 4 shades of red when I passed him. I don't know. Who knows? Like I said, I stopped at that store and I just had to sit in the parking lot a few minutes to gather myself. And it's like, what did I do? I was shaking really bad. My whole body was shaking. And I looked at that man. I said, we have black bears. We have bears in the area. And he goes, yeah. It's like, I didn't tell him none of what I saw, but I wanted to. Believe me, I wanted to tell him. And I thought about that thing all day long. I couldn't get it out of my head.
Well, when she got home from work and first started telling me about it, she said, all I know what a bear looks like, and what I saw was not a bear.
Most definitely not a bear.
And of course, I believed her from the very first time. We've been married 45 years. I believed her when she told me, because I've always believed in Sasquatch anyway. I know Indians and other people besides Indians were here way before us and were had drawings of them and gave them names and things. So I believe in an Indian more than I would anybody else too.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's definitely eating something.
So you guys didn't experience any strange phenomenon after that? Like you guys didn't see any orbs or paranormal activity, anything else that's happened since this encounter?
Well, Tony went there.
Yeah, I had something happen with me. There's 770 acres across the street from me that nobody lives on. And it's heavily wooded. We live in a rural area here. It's heavily wooded. It's got 3 big lakes, well, 2 big lakes on it and a small pond. And we go over there and fish, just us and a couple of the neighbors here, because it's posted. And I got to know the man that owns the property. He gave us permission to go over there and fish. But I go there one day by myself, and it was a calm day, no wind. You could, hear a pin drop. It was just the greatest day to be fishing over there. And I was bass fishing, and I'd probably been there maybe an hour and a half. And there's just a handful of people that live around the 772 acres, including us, maybe 10 people. We all know each other and what have you. And I was out there fishing, and like I said, it was just as quiet, no wind, sunshine day, no clouds. And all of a sudden, I hear to the right of me, up in the woods, probably I would estimate 60 yards from me, up in the woods, I hear what sounds to me, if I was to describe it to you or anyone else, was like a baseball bat that hit a tree 3 times real hard. A thump, thump, thump. And of course, I looked over that direction and thought, what is that? I knew it wasn't an animal doing it, from the way it sounded. It sounded that, it had to be somebody doing that. And it didn't really bother me, but I thought it was just odd. It was just really odd. I've metal detected over the past 35 years and been in woods a lot, raised in the country all my life. So I know what things sound like or look like in the woods. And it probably maybe had been 5 minutes. And it did it again. This time it did it 8 times. I hear 8 knocks on this tree, where it sounds like a baseball bat hitting a tree. Well, this time I said, okay, I don't know if somebody's down here trying to play a trick. on me and try to scare me or what. But I knew it probably was nobody because we know everybody here. And that particular day was during the week when everybody's at work. There's a couple people here that retired, and so when they did the second time, I looked over that direction. I said, "Hey, I don't know who you are up there, but you're not scaring me." And of course, it's quiet, nothing. And maybe another 5 minutes had gone by, and it did it again. Another 8 knocks on the tree. And I'm not going to say it scared me, but I got kind of concerned about it, and I was about ready to be done fishing anyway. I wasn't catching a lot of fish. So I just paddled my boat over to where you launch your boat at the lake over there, got in a boat and came home. And told my wife about it, and I said, I don't think it was somebody in there. I think it was, yeah, and whatever was doing that, even if it was a person doing that with a bat, they were swinging it extremely hard because it was loud. It was loud as if it was almost on top of me, And I'd known about in the past of watching shows on Bigfoots and such, where they would contact each other by hitting trees with whatever,
Yeah, absolutely. And I've heard a lot of reports where people are fishing and they experience wood knocking or rock throwing. They can see rocks being thrown out of the woods into the water. And I theorize that possibly these things are wood knocking by throwing rocks at trees. And I say that because I recorded a group of Sasquatch wood knocking at a man's property. And after you'd hear the loud, powerful wood knock, you could hear debris hitting like the leaves on the forest floor. So I don't know if they were hitting it with a stick or possibly it was the rocks bouncing off the trees and hitting the ground.
Right. And all I heard was just the knocking. Why it was so odd to me is because I know nobody else was there but me. And there was something else I was going to tell you about that. And when I got on my four-wheeler going out of there, it's about a mile out of there coming to get to my place. And where it happened at, I could hear the sound was so close. For a human to be able to have done that, where I'm seeing the sound coming from, they just had to walk every bit of 2 miles down into the woods to get to where that spot was where I hear it coming from. And I knew, and you'd had to walk if you were going to do something like that to scare somebody, because you cannot ride a four-wheeler down there and sneak up on anybody, because you can hear a four-wheeler coming close to you from miles away. So you're not sneaking down there on anybody with a four-wheeler or any, motor vehicle or anything. You couldn't even drive a car down there in that area where that sound came from.
Was the same?
And it bothered me enough that when I was driving out there by four-wheeler, I was looking to my left and looking to my right, just kind of watching around me. I'm picturing in my mind one of them jumping out and grabbing me and snatching me off a four-wheeler, which is probably crazy thinking. But
well, they're not known to attack humans, I don't guess. I've never said. Well, I don't know. I ain't never heard them attacking humans, but one more instance that happened. Out alive if they do.
Me and a friend of mine were down there, and it had washed really bad on the roads we take going down there to fish. And when we decided to come back out of there, I told him, I said, "Hey, let's make another four-wheeler trail out of the woods ourselves. And we have machetes with us, cut down some small trees or brush if we need to get out of there and make another trail, because the other ones have washed so bad." He said, "Yeah, that's fine." Well, he was behind me, and I'd picked an area off to the far right of the pond. It's to the left of the pond we always fished in, to start coming up that big hill embankment out of the woods. And like I said, I metal detected off and on for 30, 40 years, so I know what to look for in woods, that certain trees or flowers or what have you that shouldn't be there. So, I'm used to looking at stuff like that. When we get coming up about halfway through these woods and we're cutting our way through, making another trail, and I come up on these 8 trees. I don't remember if they were pine or oak or what. There's somewhere around 5 to 8 inches in circumference. and they are bent over. They're probably, I don't know, 20, 30 feet tall, and they're all bent over in a circle to make like a hut. And they're, and they really stood out from the other woods, and I had stopped. And I turned around and looked at my buddy, and I said, "Man, look at these trees right here." He said, "Yeah, I see that." I said, I just stared at him for a few minutes, looking at him like, a storm, a person,
tornado.
Yeah, hasn't done this. Somebody, something has deliberately bent these trees over like this. And I got off my four-wheeler, walked around them, looked at them for a few minutes, I guess trying to convince myself that, a tornado, a storm, wind had made these trees in the position they were in.
Yeah, so it was like a den. Is that correct?
Yeah. Like if me and you ourselves had been known a storm was coming and we're in the woods, we're going to try and take shelter, but there's not any. There's plenty of woods. So me and you are going to get together, come up with an idea of bending these trees over to make us like some cover. That's what it looked like. Somebody had bent those over to make cover.
And they were entwined, though. I mean,
and they were interlocked with each other. They weren't like just bent over and touched. They were interlocked, crossed through each other, and they were all. And none of them were dead. These are all live trees, and they just looked way out of, like it didn't belong. They didn't belong there. That out of place.
Yeah, and was this deep in the woods, or was this off a trail in the woods, like where they can watch people?
No, this is deep in the woods. Like I said, we started making a new trail to get in and out of there because the washers were so bad on the trail we've been riding.
Yeah,
and that's the reason I started going through those deep. It's really thick, and it was really thick, and then we got to that spot in there where it's really thick, and there they were, and I just told you the story of what happened. It's just they're just odd.
Yeah,
extremely odd.
I've heard of these dens being deep in the woods. A guy from Minnesota sent me a photo of one, and he said it was real deep in the forest. There was a guy here in Missouri that sent me one in the Mark Twain National Forest, and he said it was real deep in there. And there was another guy from Tennessee, and it was the same way, deep in the forest. So,
well, where I saw mine, it was not deep in the woods. I wouldn't say you would call that deep in the woods. He was pretty.
You sit on the shoulder.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's still houses. There was houses there. I mean, it ain't like rural.
Yes, that's rural. That's rural there. There's still to this day almost no one there. And that side where you saw him, there's only one house that you passed before you got to where he was standing.
Right.
If you look behind where he was standing.
And the thing is, there was an old like shack, like like a one-room shack, that like they had back in the day. It's been there since, I don't know, but it was like right there off the side of the road too. It's been there forever. And I had told another friend of ours one night, and he said, "Oh, that was so and so." I said, "No, that wasn't so and so. That was whatever I just told you I saw." And there was a shack there, and he goes, "That dude is in that shack." And I said, "No, this ain't a guy. This wasn't a person I saw. It was a creature."
Yeah.
And of course, they didn't believe me, but that's okay. I know what I saw.
Yeah, well, we believe you here, and you definitely encountered some unusual creature, and yeah, I believe you 100%. Tony, when you heard these wood knocks when you were fishing, can you remember the time of day and the time of year when this happened?
Yeah, it was in April. It was the same time as it is now. It was in April in the spring, and it was probably 10 in the morning. And that's really, I don't know if that would even matter or not, but I would think being the situation I was in over there and knowing this whole area, I've been here for 30 years now. Had that happened at night, it probably would have bothered me a lot more. But it happening during the day was just kind of like those trees I explained to you that were in a hut-like shape. That was very odd. It was just odd because I knew I convinced myself pretty quick that it was nobody, no human being that was down there and was trying to scare me. It was something else that did it. And I couldn't tell you what it was, but I would tell you if I had to tell somebody.
Well, what about that day you were down there and that deer jumped in the water, was running for its life, and nothing chasing it? Explain that.
I can't explain that either.
That poor baby deer you said was running for its
Yeah,
life.
but that could have been anything after it.
For it to jump in the water like it did?
Yeah, we right by the ramp where we launched the boat. It was the same type of day, still day, no
He
wind.
jumped off that cliff.
You could hear a pin drop. There's an embankment over to the right that goes straight up where we were fishing. And this, small deer leaped off. We heard the scuffling through the woods first, and it leaped off the bank into the pond where with us and was 15 feet from us. And of course, me and my son was with me. We were freaking out. It was just, the whole thing was freaked out. He jumped in the water and was like 10 feet from behind us and was just dog paddling, keeping his head above the water. And he started swimming towards us. And I said, oh my God, look, he's going to swim right towards the boat. I could have reached out and patted him on his head as it passed us. And it passes as if it was going to go out to where we launched the boat. And then it just sat there for, 15, 20 seconds. It changed its mind and turned and went clear across the lake and got on the other side.
Yeah. It sounds like he was using you guys for safety, and possibly there was a predator after him,
exactly.
such as Sasquatch.
Exactly. It's something, and I'm not going to say it wasn't a coyote or a wolf or something like that. We didn't see or hear anything. But
deer.
It was just a deer.
Yeah,
and,
it could have been a pack of coyotes, but at the same time, Sasquatch will do the same thing. And I had a deer out here in my yard that had its front leg broken. It would come out into the yard almost every day and just stand there. It wouldn't run off, and it would look back into the woods and then look at me and repeat that. And you could tell something was after it. I never thought much about it, but it was in the same time frame that I had my Bigfoot sightings. And then later on, I interviewed a farmer down south that was having he had big bucks on his trail camera on video, and they had their front leg broken just like this deer, and it was dangling, and he was having the same activity taking place.
So have you actually seen one yourself?
Yeah, I've seen them several times. They were here for a good span of time, and I was out there every day researching, and I caught glimpses of them.
Really? Really?
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion on the whole thing? You think they've been here since way before man, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I feel like they're from the old world if those stories are true. And, I'm not trying to sound like a Bible thumper. I definitely believe in the Bible, but we
do too.
Yeah, it talks about this giant world before Noah's time. And I mean, they describe it the same as science, like how there was this landmass called Pangea, and apparently, there was people back then. There were giants. There was pretty much a one world government, and there were things such as giants, the Nephilim, and the animals were apparently unclean. So God had to flood the earth and wipe everything off the face of the earth and pretty much restart with Noah's family and two of every animal.
It's just a coincidence. Me and my son were talking about that last night. I don't know if you've recently seen on YouTube the bronze pieces that they found, I think, somewhere in Rome in that area in Italy. And they had a museum for a few years. They were discovered in I think 2007 or 8. And, we have technology now where they can zoom and look through metal and see everything inside of it. And they just recently, not long ago, had done that with that biggest piece of bronze that they had, and found all those what would look like a wind-up watch if you tore the guts and opened it with all the gears in. Did you see that?
Yeah, I've seen things like that, and that's pretty strange.
Well, see, I was telling my son, I said, I've always believed, if you believe in the Bible and how we got here, we have a creator and what have you, it's hard for me imagining caveman. We're been told since we were young, I guess caveman invented the wheel and so on. And it's just hard for me to believe that humans at whatever time you want to go back and put it at, invented such things as the wheel, and then everything just stopped.
Yeah.
I've always had an issue with why have humans been here for tens and thousands upon thousands of years, and it took until 1885 for us to build a car engine.
Yeah, it's pretty strange because what science talks about with like caveman and Neanderthals, you go back further in time and there was the pyramids. So it's like, okay, this doesn't make sense because they're claiming that we evolved slowly, then made the wheel. But before that, there's the pyramids, which we can't replicate with today's technology. It's not lining up.
Right.
Well, it's kind of ironic that you would say something about the biblicals. And I don't want, it was devilish looking. That to me, that's the only way to describe it. It was devilish. It was like something out of the unknown is what I saw.
Yeah, you definitely got the feeling that it was evil.
Very evil. Very evil. I'm getting chills again just thinking about it because it's hard to explain unless you experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely understand. And
I mean, it's something that if you're walking through the woods, not a care in the world, and you come across this thing, you just hope and pray that it goes the other way or don't attack you or eat you, or you know what I'm saying? It's devilish. Plumb devilish.
Yeah. I mean, with Sasquatch, if I encounter one, which I have, I just kind of stand there, watch, go my own way. But with a dogman creature similar to what you encountered, I don't know if I would react that way. Like if I had a firearm, I feel like I'd put a bullet in it. Like I don't know if I'd just let it go or take off running.
I don't even think I could hold a steady arm to get an aim on it.
True. I believe it was one of your. I could be wrong. I believe it was one of your shows I saw recently where that guy had shot one.
Yeah.
Was that one of your shows?
Yeah, where he was camping during hunting season and they rushed his tent and he started shooting.
We did watch that one.
Yeah, I got my wife to watch it the next day. I told her she needed to watch that one. That was a great interview you did with that guy.
Yeah, I labeled it as terrifying Bigfoot encounter, but honestly, I don't know. Maybe it was Dogman, and the guy that was with him did say he saw red glowing eyes similar to like brake lights coming at the tent.
No, these were brighter than brake lights. Way brighter than brake lights. You really can't explain the eyes. You really can't. I think that's what scared me the most was the eyes, because it looked like it looked devilish. It looked like you were actually looking in the face of the devil itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way I can explain it. I mean, it was.
Was it like hot coals, or was it like, I don't know, like laser beam lights? I don't know how to describe it, but or like demon eyes, like you would think of like a demon having like red glowing eyes.
Yeah, like demon eyes, devilish looking demon eyes.
Like mean looking.
Yeah, he was like waiting for me to like. It was like, yeah, go ahead and do what you're gonna do. I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. You saw me. So he was like, when he raised up, when he rose up, he bowed up to me, like you know how you
like in defense,
yeah, his arms bowed out, and he bowed up and the look, I mean,
like you interrupted his meal.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
Yeah, I've actually heard that from people who have encountered these creatures. They say it has this intelligent look in its eyes, and you could tell it's thinking like, haha, what are you going to do now?
Yeah, that exactly, sir. It was exactly that, like that. And like I said, it was it's hard to explain. You just can't explain it. I was scared. I was really, really scared.
I actually just got chills thinking about it. I can't imagine the fear that you felt. I'm sorry this happened to you. And
yeah, I mean, I don't want to see it again. Let me put it to you that way. I do not want to see it again.
Yeah, that's tough because like people struggle with regular life, like keeping up with jobs, money, or just like relationships, or some, a family member passes away. Like that kind of stuff can cause like a lot of grief in your life, and it's hard to manage that. But I can't imagine what it's like encountering one of these creatures, because it's like, who do you talk to? I mean, people say, "Oh, go to a therapist for this." Like, what are you going to say? I saw a dog man, and they can't relate to you. Like, how is somebody supposed to help you through this?
Crazy.
Yeah, we've told some really close friends that we've had, off and on for a number of years, and they just more or less, they don't say that they don't believe it. They just blow the story off. We go talk about, we'll talk about the weather after that or something, because they just don't. They haven't ever had any encounter whatsoever of anything to do with a creature like that. So to them, it's this, you're talking about something that they wouldn't know anything about and don't really care about it.
Yeah, that's definitely tough. And I mean, when you hear about an encounter like this, your brain can't process it. But when you actually see the thing with your very eyes, your brain still can't process it. So it's difficult.
Yeah, I know if I ever see one out here at all, no matter the distance, I guess from what everybody's talking, including my wife and things I've watched on your show and other shows, that I guess I'm in a vehicle or something. I don't know. Or that I am armed if I'm walking around or something.
His claws or hands or whatever they are, he could have stopped me if he wanted to. He could have stopped my car, I think.
Yeah, that's what's amazing to me. It's not just her that I've heard that from. I've seen other people on that have encountered these things. They say kind of the same thing. They wouldn't have, they just by looking at it, they believe it could have tossed their car or tossed whatever they were in, down the road.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
When he stood up.
Oh, go ahead, Brenda.
That's the thing. When he stood up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what freaked me out too. He stood up like a human.
Did he stand up real slow, or did he pop up really fast?
Really slow, because like I said, when I topped that hill, I was coming down the hill, and when my car lights hit him, he stood up like really slow. And like I said, he bowed up like he was ready for a fight, like you're going to a fight. You know how people bow up and fist in a fight.
Yeah,
that's what he looked like.
So he wasn't backing down. He was ready to go.
Yeah, and he bowed up. He didn't, like fist up, but you could tell when he stood up, he was doing it all like in slow motion to me. It was like all in slow motion. It's like, am I going through a time warp? And oh my God, am I in hell? Is what I thought. Am I in hell? And I'm encountering the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Did I die and I'm still awake or something? I don't know. Like, your brain just can't process what you're actually seeing.
Yeah.
That's and when he stood up slowly, very slowly, he started bowing up, and I could tell he was kind of like chewing whatever he was chewing, and his teeth too, like canine teeth, like a long canine teeth. That too was like, wow.
Yeah.
And then his hands, his fingernails or claws or whatever you want to call them, because he had a hand. He had 5 fingers. I could see that. And his nails were long, very long. And when I went past him, I didn't look at my rearview mirror. Like I said, I was concentrating on the road, and it was already dark, and can't hardly see at night anyways. And it's pitch black. But I knew the road because I took it every morning. So I knew if there was a stop sign right there, it's like, I am not stopping at this stop sign. I'm blowing through this stop sign, And I told myself, I'm going to stop at RC's. I'm going to stop and get me a Coke, compose myself, gather myself.
It still bothers to this day. This has been, How long ago was it? 25 years ago? Has it been that long ago now?
Yeah.
About 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's scary.
It's very scary, sir, and it's something I do not want to see ever again in my lifetime, ever, ever, ever.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of people that
Yes,
encounter
sir.
Bigfoot, and they call them the forest people, forest friends. They gift with them, they interact with them, but I've never heard of anyone saying that they interact with a Dogman creature and they hang out with him. Like, when you hear about Dogman, or if you encounter one, the first thought that comes to your mind is death. Like, major red flag. Like, this is not good.
Right. That's right. That's what I got from her when she first told me about it was
Devilish.
yeah, the fear of dying, this thing killing you. But she told me she stopped. She said it so fast when I was talking to her about it. She said if I had stopped, people just got the car and thrown it or ripped my roof off. Her being convinced of that. If she had stopped, this thing would have just done whatever it wanted to do.
He would have ate me.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you got a good support system, Brenda, and it sounds like you guys are made for each other, and I'm glad you're able to support each other and be there for one another instead of having this difference where one person saw it and the other one didn't, but you guys both believed, Tony believed you, and that alone really helps out a lot. And that's,
well, he didn't believe me until that couple come over.
No, I believed her. I believe what she was telling me. What she saw is what she saw.
Mm-hmm.
The only blank I had in my mind really about it was, did she really see something besides a bear? When that couple had their story the same as hers, just a different location from here, and then drawing those pictures on the paper, and they were identical. I said, well, something's out there. They both, these three people saw it. Something, and they saw something that they all know is not a animal that we see all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you still communicate with the couple?
No, we haven't seen them since then. We sure haven't.
Oh, okay.
They were young.
They were probably in their 20s. That was when our son was younger. It's a long time ago. We haven't seen them since then, though.
And when you drove past this Dogman creature, when you're driving and you pass a dead animal or a skunk, you can smell it through the vents. Did you smell anything unusual?
No, I didn't smell nothing.
But did you say how his hair was dirty?
Well, yeah, he was dirty looking.
Dirty looking.
He was
just
black and
mangy,
hairy, mangy, really mangy looking. It was like, long hair. The hair is like shaggy dog, long.
Was
all
it
over his body?
Okay, all over his body. It wasn't just long around his neck and his chest area. It was long all over.
No, sir. Yeah, it was all over him. It was long all over his body. Them eyes, though, I'll never forget. I still throw about them eyes. I'm sorry. I'm shaking now thinking about it.
Yeah. Okay, so I told you guys that I've had Bigfoot eye sighting encounters, and I've had a handful of them. I can't tell you exactly how many I'd seen because one night they showed up and I hit them with the spotlight and the whole clan was in the woods. So when people ask me, how many have you seen? I say, I don't really know, but I've seen quite a few of them. There was this incident when I was 11 or 12 years old before I ever had my Bigfoot encounters, and it was in the same area where I encountered Bigfoot. I was sitting in my room. I had the window open. I was watching TV and on my computer. And this was in the summertime. And it was around, I would say, anywhere from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. But I'm just sitting there doing my thing. And I hear what sounds like a werewolf outside. And I've heard coyotes. I've heard wolves like on TV shows. This was different. This was like what you'd hear like on Hollywood movies, that deep guttural werewolf howl out in the woods. I mean, it sounded like somebody took that Hollywood werewolf vocalization and blasted it through a PA system at a concert, and it was just right there in the wood line. I always wondered what the heck that was, and after I had my Bigfoot encounters years later, I started learning about Dogman, and I thought about that vocalization. I was like, oh my God. Well, if Bigfoot's
What
real
if-
because I'd seen them, that means all these crazy people that are saying that Dogman exists are actually telling the truth.
Oh, well, I already had in my mind, like I told you, that, way before Europeans such as us got here, there were Indians here, and, they saw 'em, had drawings of them and what have you. Then you've got, children, young children from, say, 5, 6, 8 years old to people in their 90s that have seen these creatures. So are all these thousands of people telling a story or making up a lie, and that's just not true.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in the ancient pyramids, you see this human dog creature statues, and they call him an Anubis.
Right,
It looks like a dog man, and I think a lot of them have red eyes too.
right.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder. I believe these things are from the ancient world, and not all of them were killed in the flood. And it's scary to know that
Yeah,
these things are out there.
well, I was just talking about something real quick last night about what you just said, what we were talking about earlier. If you believe in a creator and what have you, and if we are right about the Earth being about 4 to 4.5 billion years old, who's to say that creator 2 billion years ago didn't create a species and since then wiped it out, or it went extinct, and now, of course, if we wouldn't find anything because it'd all be dirt, you know.
Well, what I saw was not from this world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something happened somewhere, somehow.
You think they're going into a time warp, or you believe, like I've seen a lot of these guys in Louisiana? These guys in Louisiana have their own club kind of thing where they've been hunting it forever, and they swear that they're ground dwellers.
Yeah, I mean, I believe there's definitely a connection with the underground world, and I do feel like they're possibly using portals, and I feel like that's a missing link to it all, and that's why people don't find bodies, and why people are seeing
Right.
orbs, why these things can cloak, like many people have claimed, and I think that could be a reason, especially since not everyone, but a lot of people that experience hardcore cryptid activity are also experiencing paranormal phenomenon and other strange things that they can't explain. And I feel like that has something to do with portals. And
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, and
I don't like going outside at night by myself at all. I will not go outside in the woods by myself at night. And we live, like I said, there's woods all around us right here. And if I have to go outside, somebody going with me.
Mhm.
I ain't going by myself.
Yeah, when you encounter a cryptid creature, it changes nighttime for you. All of a sudden, you're afraid of the dark again, like you were when you were a little kid.
Yeah.
Like something's gonna get you from under the bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
what do they call them? I just saw a show that's not that old on YouTube where those guys went up into the mountains in the snow somewhere. What do you call the one that they think exists up there?
Yeti?
Yeah, the Yeti.
Is it Yeti? Yeah, and a bunch of those guys went up with tents and all their backpacks and stuff, and had those footprints they found
Mm-hmm.
where no human could survive up there. And I believe that too.
Yeah, absolutely. These things are global, and that's just another reason why I believe that they are from the ancient world, because the Nephilim were global. And yeah, I mean, there's just things going on that we cannot explain.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
This is something from out of the world.
It makes you wonder though, like the dog man, maybe not so much as Sasquatch to me, but the dog man and the way she described it, that couple that was here described it, and other people have seen it. What is its purpose here?
Like I said, it's a science project gone wrong.
I don't believe that.
I
believe in
don't know
things.
what to believe.
I ain't saying it's not possible, but I don't
I
believe.
don't know what to believe.
It
I
could
don't
be an
believe that.
ancient science project that went wrong, and I think that's kind of like what the Nephilim were, and they're unclean. And I think the dark side tried making man in their own image, but
You really? Well, I
You're
guess.
talking about the dark side, I told you a while ago, it looked kind of devilish.
mhm.
It's like I said, you're trying to process what you just saw. Did you did I die on the way to work and I went to hell? That's really what I thought, because you just can't explain. It's like it wasn't even in the movie.
Terror. It was like terror.
Yeah,
It was like terror.
I mean, I was in my vehicle. I felt kind of safe in my vehicle, somewhat. Not 100% safe, but I felt kind of secure there. But it's like, what did I? You can't explain it. I don't know. You just can't explain it. It's you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah,
really
absolutely. You're not wrong thinking it's a science experiment gone wrong. There's a lot of insiders who work for the government that said that aliens are doing human genetical experiments, and when
Man, that'd be crazy. If that really has happened, that is crazy.
I mean, that's what I thought.
yeah,
I mean,
it seems like
the
humans
Bible
have been
does-
altered.
I guess it's possible. The Bible says that's a no-no, not to do that,
Mhm.
mix other animals with other animals and what have you. I know
it could
that.
have
said
been
there.
mixed breed or something that gone wrong, because
I'm a believer that anything's possible too in this world we live in. So
Yeah.
And what I don't understand is you're saying they come back from way back then. How did they survive all that time? I know they probably mated, but what in the world are they mating with? You know what I mean? To reproduce.
Yeah,
So,
and
what
maybe
was the
there's a
name?
connection with the underground, with
Oh,
how they
no.
survived, and there, like I said, there's people from the government that have talked about these things, and a lot of them concluded that the aliens they're demonic, and there's also a guy that reverse engineered one of the ships, and he said that the spaceship they recovered from an archaeological dig, like it's hundreds and thousands of years old, so. I think it's possible that a lot of this stuff is from the ancient world.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe in even the guys that do it for a living and scientists and stuff. A lot of them are skeptics too on carbon dating. I don't know if I believe in carbon dating. If all that's really that accurate.
Demonic is a good word for it. Really.
Yeah.
Because they look dangerous.
I think that's what they are. Demons are just these creatures that were created and they weren't supposed to be here. So, I think that's a reason why hell had to be created, because it's like, what do we do with these things? Like, we have to find like a garbage pit to dump all this stuff.
Right.
Well, what I saw was very, like you said, demonic, devilish, something from another world, something that is unreal.
But I believe
Very
that
unreal.
don't you, that the Sasquatch and Bigfoot, whatever, are totally different from this dogman creature, don't you?
I want to believe they're different, but a lot of the things that people have attributed with Dogman are the same things that people talk about with Bigfoot. I've talked to several people who have encountered Dogman that said it spoke to them like through their mind. And it's like, whoa, that's weird, because people who've encountered Bigfoot have said the same thing. I've never had that experience, but it keeps popping up in the research.
Right.
Yeah. And like I said, where I heard that werewolf howl is the same exact area where I had my Bigfoot encounters. Kind of strange.
Right.
I don't know if he was trying to talk to me through his eyes or whatever, but for I ain't gonna say a split second, I was paralyzed or feeling paralyzed, kind of.
He had your attention.
Yeah,
He had your undivided attention.
very much so. He had my undivided attention. And like I said, when he rose up and bowed up, I knew something was supposed to go down. That's the fear and the vibe I got from this thing. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Well, it's kind of like he was saying that other people were telling him that you like invaded his space or what he was doing.
Yeah, and the eyes though, I can't get over them eyes. I'm sorry, I keep going back to these eyes. I think that's what scared me the most, was the eyes, the piercing eyes looking at you. And he watched me like a human being. you see a car coming, so you turn your head to look at the car, and as you go by, you turn your head and watch the car go by, right? So that's what he did. He rose up, and as he rose up, looked at me, and as I went by, he was like in slow mo. I couldn't go no faster, and he was just watching me, watch me, and when I looked up in my rearview mirror, I didn't see him. It was like gone.
You probably couldn't even. It's so black.
Yeah, it was dark, and he was dark.
There's no light there.
Yeah, it was very dark.
Yeah.
It was about 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it's like I said, we live in a rural area, and when she saw it,
I didn't go that way for a long, long time. I quit going that way.
Yeah, she quit going that way for a long time.
When I got on the main highway, I stayed off the back roads. Sure did.
And I stopped there one day by myself at the exact spot that she showed me it was, and got out of the car and just looking across the road there, and I just looked at seen all the woods. I said, well, there's plenty of area for it to hide in right there,
Absolutely. It almost makes me wonder what the Native Americans meant when they referred to a skinwalker or a shapeshifter. Now, I don't know if there's anything to that.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I don't know either. I think they probably thought it was some type of. I know it's something they didn't. As far as I know, the little bit I read on it, they didn't ever try and mess with it, did they?
I don't know, really. And I've always heard that the Native Americans would move their camp because they deplete the animals, and they'd defecate like in areas, and they'd have to move to keep from getting diseases. But it almost makes me wonder if they kept moving to get away from these things, because they slept out there in the woods. It was like camp every day for them.
Right.
Here's the thing, though. You don't really hear of them attacking people. And you said earlier that they only eat dead animals.
Well, I don't think we all really truly know that.
Well, the Native Americans said the Sasquatch would eat people. They would hunt like women and children.
Oh, they did say that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they would take women and children, and it makes us wonder in today's world, because there's all these missing people, and people be walking in the woods and turn around, their kids just gone.
Right.
What are they doing with them? Are they eating them, or are they breeding them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people speculate possibly they're eating them, or possibly they're breeding with humans.
Something's going on, because how did they last all these years of what, if we're going back to the Indian days? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? How did they survive? Or they had to be multiplied. It started out with one, I'm sure. So what are they breeding with? Another animal, a human? Because they're multiplying evidently, because there's been several sightings of this thing.
Yeah, they're definitely breeding.
Yeah, right, but what are they breeding with? Another creature like them, or a dog, a wolf, a bear? What got me? You stood up like a human. That's what got me. You know what I'm saying? Only one other animal stands up, and that's a bear. You know what I'm saying? They stand up like a human, kind of.
Yeah. I always thought Greek mythology was just folklore, like it wasn't real. But now that I've learned more about the cryptid subject and have had these encounters, it's like, what were they trying to tell us?
Exactly. We're here. We're out here. You may not be able to see me often. I think it was just not a coincidence, but you just don't see them every day. And it's very sporadic that somebody would see them. I don't know what the time lapse was between when I saw this thing and our friend saw this thing. I don't know what the time frame was.
It's about a year.
Okay, a year later, that they encountered it. I was like that girl, just, speechless.
Yeah, I didn't say much about her. She said it scared her so bad she couldn't talk. When that's why she was just pointing at it. But then when looked at her and said, "What is it?" And she still didn't answer him. And he looks going through his mind. He looks to see what she's pointing at, and that's when he saw it. And I believed every word they said too. And like I said, when when I told him I would have probably stopped, he said, "Man, I'm telling you, you wouldn't have stopped. You wouldn't have stopped."
No.
That he floored his truck, and he didn't care if he blew his truck up.
I wouldn't even get close.
He was getting as far away from what he just saw.
I don't think you would want to get in close enough to even shoot it if you had a gun. That's how
Intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, a gun. A gun would have killed it, but I think he'd have got his licks in before you.
I don't think a gun would kill it unless it had enough bullets in it. I mean, you can shoot. You know that you can shoot a deer and it'll run 200 yards before it falls over.
This thing was out of this world. You can't explain it. It's just unexplanatory, very much so. I felt like I done died and went to hell is what I thought I was in, really. Because it was just, did I just meet the devil? Is what I thought. Yeah. I was just trying to put these thoughts in my head. It's like, I didn't see what I saw. No, I didn't see what I saw. I just stepped out a minute and whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just so unexplainable.
Yeah.
So unexplainable.
It's something myself and the researchers talk about when we're looking for Bigfoot is, what if we run into a dogman? What are we going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, what are you going to do? Because it's going to paralyze you. That's what I think. Because of those eyes. Because he's going to, he was looking at me. Literally looking at me. And looking at me. And watching me. And rose up and bowed up at me. And I think that's what scared me the most is when he rose up and I saw those eyes and his arms and the look. Those eyes were so piercing. And I think if I would have been walking, I'd have been dead.
It just sounded like to me like if you come up on a lion that's out eating a deer on the ground and you walk up.
No,
I'm doing that kind of. You're intimidating.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. I mean, a lion. I see it. A lion. Okay, I see the lion. It's a lion. A lion is a lion.
No, I mean the way it acted.
Your brain comprehends that as a lion.
As if you interrupted it while it was eating.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is your brain comprehends that that's a lion. That's a lion. That's a dog over there. I see. That's a dog. But that creature I saw was not from this world at all. It was not.
You mean the earth?
World, earth, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely dangerous to be out in the woods at nighttime, but it's even dangerous to walk the highway at night or back roads.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about.
You wouldn't think that it would be that close to, what is it?
You know what I forgot about? I'm sorry I forgot your name.
Miguel.
Hey, I forgot about it. I got a good friend of mine I know for 25 years that lived here where I'm at. He's passed away now. I wish he was alive. He could tell you his story. I completely forgot about it till just now. Long story short, was an avid deer hunter, coon hunter at night, and the whole 9 yards, country boy hunter. Not scared of anything when you go out there at night and do all that if you're coon hunting at night. And he come to work one morning, and it was deer season. I said, "Well, you see a deer? Did you get a deer?" He said, "No, but I saw a Bigfoot," and he was always cracking jokes at work and making stuff like that. I said, "Oh, you saw a Bigfoot?" He said, "No, I ain't kidding. I saw a Sasquatch." I said, "Where?" He started describing to me where it was there close by his house. It's a heavily wooded area too. What had happened, he was at his deer stand that's on a power line clearing where they cleared out for power lines. And he said he was just about getting ready to get up and go back to the house. He didn't see anything. When he said he saw about 100 yards away, what he described as a Bigfoot walk across that clearing. from the woods in the clearing and back into the woods. So he knows it wasn't a man or a bear or nothing. He said it was a Bigfoot. And I've forgotten all about him telling me that.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Was that close to the Dogman encounter?
Yeah, actually, you know what? That's probably 10 miles away.
Yeah, that's the strange thing is if you look at the Dogman encounter map and you line it up with the Bigfoot encounter maps, they're pretty much identical.
Yeah, he said it was, if he guessed, it was about 8 foot tall, with this really dark black hair, not long hair, but just, he said, and he didn't talk about it hardly much anymore, even after that. He told a couple other guys that worked with us about it and never talked about it much ever again, but he told me he knows what he saw. That's what it was.
Yeah, I ain't really talked much about it either because people think I'm half nuts, but I know what I saw. I don't care if you believe me or not. I saw what I saw.
Yeah.
I saw what I saw.
I believe you, and they are out there, and hopefully I never run into one.
Yeah, you don't want to, sir. You really don't want to because, like I said,
or if you do, like you, if you're in a car,
the eyes will paralyze you to where you don't respond. You're just frozen. Like, you're frozen.
Yeah. And like I said, I heard one, and the first thing I did was I slammed that window shut, and I got in my bed and put the covers over me, and I didn't come out till the next day.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, the knocking that I was telling you about that happened over there, I was waiting. My mind had kind of made up 90% that was probably a Sasquatch that was making those pounding noises on that tree. I was waiting for an answer back, if that's what that was. Of course, I never heard one.
Do you think they
It was
talk?
3 knocks, and then it was about a 5-minute pause, and it was 8 knocks, about a 2-minute pause, and another 8 knocks. And the last 2 times it did that, I hollered up in the woods, like I said, like, whoever you are up there, you're not scaring me, When actually they did get my attention, whatever it was.
Well, this creature definitely got my attention that morning.
Yeah. It sounds like they were communicating.
Yeah, and nobody was out there. Nobody was in those woods. That's 772 acres there. You have to, if you're going to get to the area I was at, you'd have to walk a mile up to 2 miles to get down there to where I'm at. And I knew, nobody around here. We know everybody here. There's not 20 people within a 5-mile radius of me right here that live here. Nobody's had walked down there.
Yeah, and that's a 22-acre pond.
Nobody had walked down there and started beating on the trees just to try and.
It's like down in the gulch. You go downhill all the way to it, that pond. Yeah. No, hardly anybody knows that pond's back there.
Yeah, nobody's allowed to go in there but us anyway.
Yeah, and nobody knows it's back there really, because it's so far in there. Like Tony said, it's 2.5 miles. McGill, I'm just wondering.
That land is since sold. The man that owned it passed away a few years ago. His wife got it, and she sold it to some people that just bought it for $1 million about, I don't know, maybe a year ago. And they're fixing what 4 roads we had in there. They're fixing them now with dozers and going to subdivide it out and let people build big houses in there.
Yep.
So I'm hoping I'm still around. So if that does happen and I meet any people that do move in there, if they're going to have any kind of encounters like that.
They're probably running them out because they done cleared most woods.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard of some really developed areas that have had Dogman encounters, and it's scary. I mean, we're talking about areas with way less woods, and it seems like they'll move through those areas at nighttime looking for people's dogs, or I don't know what they're looking for.
I had a dog that...
Man, we sure did. I told you, we've been living I have more than Brenda in the country all my life. And we had a small Shih Tzu type dog, and Brenda had started letting it out more than keeping it in the house. And make a long story short, it disappeared or something, and went out to the front yard to do something one day, and his hair, nothing but just his hair, no bones, And it was odd because the hair was at the front door here in the grass, all the way out to my road, which is about 50 feet away from the house, over towards the light pole I have here in the front yard. This hair was scattered from the front door all the way out to there.
It looked like he'd been skinned.
Yeah, well, like all his hair had been pulled out. And
Yeah.
as if it's because all was left of him, and I assume it was the dog because we never saw it again, was just his hair.
Yeah, like something plucked the hair.
Yeah, and I wouldn't think a coyote or wolf or told Brenda or anything like that, would have got a hold of him and done that. There's no reason to kill it and pretty much eat it like it is, not to dehair the whole freaking dog.
Like plucked it like a chicken.
That really kind of bothered me.
Like plucked it like a chicken.
Yeah, that really kind of bothered me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found deer kill sites
really,
like that. Like there's a bunch of deer hair, but there's no skin, like meat, bones, nothing.
Yeah, no blood, no skin, no bones, no sign of that dog whatsoever, but it's hair. And I know that the hair that was from the dog.
Yeah.
And I was scared to kind of.
Some type of predator got it.
Yeah, and like I said, I've been here all my life in these woods, and I can't think what that could have been that would have done that.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
That's odd. That's just really odd too,
Well, that night we were sitting out the backyard.
Yeah, I don't know. Now that I think about that, we had a neighbor over here one night. This is when we first moved here 30 years ago now. And we were all sitting by the fire outside. And in the woods at night out here, and there's nobody, hardly a lot of people here. There's no traffic. You can hear really well. And you know how good sound travels through woods and across water, too. And we were all sitting around the fire, and we were just talking about little or nothing. And all of a sudden, we all three heard this extremely loud screech. We all come to the conclusion, well, I thought we was tying down in the bottom right here away from our kids, and our kids were younger. And I got in my mind it was one of the kids screaming to the top of their lungs. And I took off running towards the house, and he took off running towards his house, which was in the bottom, to see if it was his son. And of course, I checked on mine, his wasn't them, and we all come to the conclusion that it must have been a
coyote,
a panther. No, we said a panther. That's the closest thing we could think of that sound could have been. As screeching and as loud. It was so loud, it seemed far away when actually
it wasn't.
It wasn't because it was so loud that, I mean, it was the instant we heard it, we just all jumped up. That was odd too.
Well, they say a coyote will screech like a kid screaming.
That wasn't a coyote. It wasn't a wolf. It wasn't a.
You make yourself believe that.
And we started asking people around here if they don't have panthers around here, and they said, yeah, maybe you get lucky if you see one, and hope you don't walk up right on one. But that was that's something I'll never forget either.
Yeah, that is strange. So have you guys had any other experiences that you'd like to share, or any questions for me before we wrap everything up?
No, yeah, that's all. But that's all I can think of right now. That's it. I guess it's just like the stuff you do. It's just the unknowns, Mm-hmm. Your mind sees something that it can't process, so it freaks out.
Yeah,
I definitely freak out.
Absolutely.
Or even sounds like the tree thing I told you about, or even the trees that I told you are bent over in a hut-like shape. I mean, the instant I saw them, like I said, I've been in this country in the woods all my life. And I know what tornadoes do to woods. I know what storms do to woods. I know what washing banks do to woods and trees. This was somebody or something bent those trees over and locked them together in a hut-like fashion. And you'd have to have, if a human did, they'd had to have ropes or what have you to be up, because they were 20, 30 feet tall, to bend them over and interlock them like that.
Yeah. Well, for sure that there's cryptid creatures in the area, and they are around, and you guys know the truth. There's no sense in trying to convince non-believers. This isn't like some type of cult following. We know that they're out there, and people need to be aware of it because they are dangerous.
Yeah. But you never hear them actually attacking anybody. I mean,
Yes, you do. You don't watch enough stuff like I do.
What I'm saying is, well, I guess they do, because he was waiting. He was ready. He was bowed up, and like, here I am. What you gonna do?
The way when she first explained to me that, the way she talked about that part of it was as if it was eating roadkill or something it had killed, and she was fixing. It thought she might be fixing to disturb it.
Yeah.
That's the one I got from it.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. Now, let me ask you guys, have you ever heard of the story from the land between the lakes?
No, but I just, when I was watching your stuff, YouTube will throw up things similar to what you watched. And I saw that. And then I saw just a piece of where a family went down there camping or something and killed all of them with a boy or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So these things do attack people. And there's been a lot of reports in the past of people being attacked, even by Sasquatch. But yeah, the Dogman, they're definitely hostile. They will attack you.
Well, this thing was ready for me. He was waiting on me to make my move. Is the impression that I got.
Yeah, it sounds like fight or flight set in for the creature as well, and he was ready to fight.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't backing down. He wasn't scared of me. He didn't run off like a deer or a dog or an animal, interacting with a human. Most animals will run, so to speak.
Yeah, he was ready to encounter you.
Yeah, he was ready for me. He was like, I ain't going nowhere.
Especially if they have a kill site nearby, they're going to protect it at all costs.
Yeah, I don't know what he was eating because it was down like in a little ditch area.
Yeah, it was later on. It was a lot later on when she told me he had blood all over his face and dripping down. I said, why did you tell me that before? She said, I just forgot about it. I just forgot.
Well, yeah, you're trying to comprehend everything you're seeing. Basically.
I said, so it was down when it was bent over, is eating something? She said, yeah, I guess so, like it was bent over eating something.
Yeah, because he rose up, bowed up. He's ready to eat me.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him that opportunity. I'm sour. You don't want me.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
I laugh about it now, but at the time it wasn't very funny. Because I really had to collect myself when I stopped at that store. I had to.
Well, McGill, as far as people believe in stuff like that, I totally understand that. Just like, if you believe in God and the Bible and creation and stuff, Jesus was here making blind people see. They didn't believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. And even Christians struggle believing their own faith. Yeah. And when you hear about these creatures, it's just far out there. It's hard to wrap your mind around it.
Well, I go back to common sense.
It made me question mine, let me tell you.
I go back to common sense. You had Indians here and other people that were here way before we were that have drawings of them and all that. And then you got people, like I told you, that are young to old, that there's not tens of thousands of people making stories up. It's just common sense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Why hasn't our government or any government on this planet really gone after?
Because they're keeping it hush hush.
No, really gone after what people are seeing. Why hasn't it wouldn't have to be in the United States? Why hadn't somebody in Yugoslavia or whatever try to really get teams together and really search for any of this?
Because
why?
I think it's yeah, it's all being covered up, and I think even though we have different countries, different leaders, it's actually a one world government. They're all working together.
What would you say would be the reason? Your opinion. What you think would be the reason for the cover up?
Because it's gone wrong. It was something gone wrong. It's like
but I think the main reason is to blot out the name of God, and they want full control over everyone, and they don't want people to know that each individual matters. We all have a purpose, and we all have a higher calling. They want to be the ones in control, not God.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I never thought about it that way. I guess.
Well, I don't think God put this here. It comes. I don't.
I think everybody believes in it. Don't believe that.
I think, like you said, it's something demonic.
Yeah, it is. But if the demonic exists, without a shadow of a doubt that God is real.
Right. Right.
Exactly, and that's what I told you a while ago. The fear I had, and I literally thought something happened, and I'm going to spend the rest of my eternity in hell.
Yeah, that's a matter of what 30 seconds or less that all that went through your brain.
Well, yeah, that was
I'm just saying, in a matter of 20, 30 seconds, all that went through your mind.
Well, yeah, I didn't know what to really think. I didn't know what to process. I was just telling myself, "Oh my God," I was trying to convince myself I did not see what I saw. That's what I was trying to do because I saw it. I didn't want to see it. I wish I could unsee it.
Yeah, because it terrified you so bad.
Yeah. And the eyes. I'll never forget them eyes. I don't care.
What do you think is about those eyes, McGill?
A lot of people have claimed that the eyes self-illuminate, or when light shines on them, they light up. But I don't know. I almost feel like if you look at one, they can control you in some way, shape, or form, like instill fear into your soul.
Yeah, because we don't have that. We don't have that same thing happening with the Bigfoot with the eyes, right?
No, it's happening as well. There's a lot of people that claim they had red eyes, but it's not common. But it does come up every now and then.
Well, it's either something just totally freaked out beyond our planet and stuff, or I believe it's a possibility that back whenever two things got together wasn't supposed to or whatever, and there you have it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Maybe it gives them some type of vision like the predator, like they're able to see in thermal and night vision at the same time.
Right, and the few handfuls I've watched over the Bigfoot Sasquatch, including yours, is of course a lot of people don't know that. You would, and I would, because of being in the country all my life, is how extremely smart they are.
Yeah, they're definitely intelligent. They're extremely intelligent.
And at the same time, I believe a couple of guys, that might have been some on your show or some other, was that I believe that they're what they say they are. They're curious about us.
They ain't curious about us. They want you as dinner.
Don't you think they are, McGill? Curious about us too?
I think they are, and like what Brenda said earlier, like possibly they're breeding with humans, and I think they have some type of fascination with us, or I don't know. They're watching people for a reason.
I can't even imagine that happening. I couldn't even. You can't even imagine something like that. That'd be terrible. I mean, that'd be. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
nobody can explain it, really.
Well, it's nice talking to you.
Yeah, it was nice speaking with you guys, and I'm glad you opened up about this encounter, and I know that it's bothered you for many years, and it always will, so it means a lot that you spoke openly about this, and it's good to get the truth out there because these things are out there in the woods.
Yeah, we've only told a handful of friends over the last 25 years or so since this happened because they, more people, I think, don't believe it than do believe it.
Don't go walking in the woods at night, and definitely don't go walking in the woods without armor, some kind of protection, some sort.
Yeah,
they ain't backing down. They are not backing down.
No.
If you're coming into their territory, that's their territory. What are you doing in my territory?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got from this thing.
One really quick, I'll let you go. I watched a guy on YouTube, Hunter Experience. It's one of the best ones I've ever seen. The guy looked really convincing to me, like that latest one you did with the guy that shot that one. He was an avid deer hunter, been in the woods all his life, and got to the edge of a field with 3-4 foot tall grass, and he saw trees being shaken across the other side of the field. And as he was telling his story, he knew that wasn't a human that was doing that over there, could hear what he thought was more than one. And he stops talking to the guy that's interviewing him. And he looks at him, he says, "You got to remember now, I've been in these woods all my life. I've got a 30-06 in my hand, and I'm laying down the grass terrified."
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If you're in,
And that's what got me about his story. And he went on to tell that he rose up and seen when he thought one was coming towards him across that field when he got up and ran. And he said to the guy that was interviewed, to this day, I haven't hunted. I don't hunt no more.
Yeah.
it definitely put the fear of God in me.
But yeah, I never thought about that. Him saying he had a 30-06 with him and was still terrified.
Yeah.
That kind of explained to me somewhat what Brenda saw when she saw what she saw, how much it terrified her.
It really did.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. People will have a firearm and kind of forget that they even had it in their hands, or they're shaking so bad that they can't even get it up to shoot.
Right.
Yeah,
Or they just know it won't do anything to the creature. They can just tell.
I wouldn't mind ever seeing one. But I'm hoping I'm going to be some distance between me and whatever it is.
I don't think the distance would matter. As big as he was, he his stride would probably be.
I think Brenda's encounter, though, was one of the closest I've seen on YouTube or TV. I picture her sitting in the car and where she was in the road and where that thing was, she showed me right where he was standing. And that's an estimated 15 to 20 feet from it. So I think hers is one of the closest encounters as far as distance to one of those things.
If he'd have jumped out in front of me, if I hit him, it would have been like hitting a tree. That's how big he was. 7, 8 foot tall. That's pretty big. The impact, if I would have hit him with my car, just the impact, I don't know how it would be like on a human, but just the impact of him, hitting my car. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it'd do too much.
I don't think I could have hurt him, I wasn't going that fast because I had, slowing down because of the stop sign. I'm driving along. I know the stop sign's right there. And
just coasting more or less.
Yeah, I'm coasting because I'm fixing to have to stop at the stop sign. I didn't stop. I kept going. And I did not look back.
Yeah, and I think you handled the situation well, and it was good that you got out of there as quickly as possible.
Oh, I definitely panicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that young boy told me that after the second time of bringing it up when they were talking about their story, and he said he floored his, because he had failed to mention that the first time. He didn't say it, I said, I think I would have stopped. And he said, man, no, you wouldn't. I floored my truck as far as I could floor, and I didn't care if it blew up. I was getting as far away from whatever we just saw. I said, well, crap, you sound as terrified as my wife was when she saw it,
Yep, the same reaction.
It's definitely the same reaction.
That's just hard for me to imagine because I haven't seen one, to be inside of a vehicle moving, and I'm scared of it. I know you understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the same reaction, the same state, the same creature, 40 miles apart.
Yeah. That was just. I'm glad that kind of happened like it did. Yeah, and I thought about it later when she was telling her story in the den. They both were sitting there, never said a word. I didn't think about that later till after it was all over. And I told Brenda, I said, they sit there and listen to what you said, the whole entire thing, and didn't say a word until you were done talking about it. And they both looked at us and said, we saw the same thing. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, nonchalantly, just calm as calm could be.
So they told their story, and then they drew a picture thing, and I was like, wow, they saw the same, whatever you want to call it.
Demonic creature. Because that's what it is.
They talked about the red eyes too, how red its eyes were.
Yeah, that's freaky.
I just froze in my car. I just froze, literally froze. I was shaking so bad I couldn't even change the gears in my car because it was a stick. So I'm trying to, drive, change gears, get away from this animal, creature, devilish looking thing.
Well, it was nice talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure speaking with you, Tony and Brenda, and I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, and I'll keep your number in my phone in case we do, run into anything that we believe is legitimate to tell you about.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good to me, and I appreciate everything you guys did today.
Oh, well, you too. It's nice to meet you. I'll keep an eye on your show. We watch them a lot.
Okay. Yep, that sounds great, and you guys have an excellent day, and if you encounter anything else, feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep up on watching your show, so if you see or anything else, we want to be able to see it.
Okay. That sounds good. And I'll let you guys go. Yeah, and I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us on Sasquatch Theory. Brenda's haunting memory of the red eyes in the Mississippi night and Tony's powerful Sasquatch encounter remind us that the unknown is closer than we think. To me, it sounds like Brenda encountered the creature at the kill site, and she did mention this creature had blood all over its face, and it was dripping blood, so it probably killed something, and she happened to be there at the wrong time. I can't imagine what she felt like when she laid eyes on this creature, and when you encounter something like this, it's something you will never forget. I often hear people say, I just really want to see one, and I don't think you do. It can really affect your mind and cause some serious issues. So yeah, you definitely don't want to see one. She's definitely lucky the creature already had a kill, because I feel like it would have pursued the vehicle. I've heard reports where these things are chasing after people as they drive away, and one guy referenced this creature running next to the vehicle, and he could hear the nails clicking on the pavement as it ran next to his truck. If you've had your own cryptid experience, reach out. We'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and stay tuned for more investigations into the mysteries that walk among us. Until the next time, keep your eyes open, because you never know what's out there.